Wind direction over the next several days, basically out of the north. That's not a real warm wind direction. We'll let you know what kind of temperatures you can expect tonight at 11.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kevin Hodge. Tonight on your WZMQ 19 News, more details on the millage renewal request for Copper Country schools. Plus, changes to how children are transported to residential treatment programs in Michigan are in the works. And a workforce development expert speaks at Bay College. Your 19 News at 11 starts now.
Live from the UP, this is WZMQ 19 News at 11.
Welcome in. A first look at your forecast as we start to prepare for tomorrow and of course the last few days of April here. So across the Upper Peninsula we'll have temperatures staying pretty consistent. Lots of 40s across the board here. Lower 40s for us into Marquette, 42, 41 out to Munising, in the mid to upper 40s the closer we get to Iron Mountain and Menominee. There might be a few isolated raindrops scooting on by, but for the most part we'll just keep things mostly cloudy here and a bit chilly to start out your Wednesday here in Marquette, and we'll raise those temperatures up again to the lower 40s, but we'll take a deeper look at your forecast in just a few short minutes.
Kelly, thank you very much. Next week, voters in Houghton, Baraga, and Keweenaw counties will vote on continuing key funding for CTE programs within their schools. WZMQ's Andrew Hans has more.
The Copper Country Intermediate School District is hoping to renew a 10-year millage on its career and technical education programs. Since 2017, the CCISD has relied on these community funds for its operating expenses of 13 unique programs available for 14 schools in the area.
Well, I worked here prior to the millage, and to see the difference after the millage is passed and the support to really help build the workforce has been instrumental in really shaping our future.
The original millage was under an ask of 1 mils. This time around, the district is slightly decreasing that ask to 0.9797 mils. The district says this change won't affect any existing courses. In fact, over its last 10 years of this funding, they've seen a significant jump in student participation.
We're doing well with the number of programs we have for our area. There's some areas that we might look at to expand, but basically that millage funds our programs, our equipment, our instructors, all our operating expenses. When it first was approved by voters in 2017, we're at about 115 students, if I recall correctly, in 2015. That rose a bit over the years, and now we're up to over 350 students the past 2 years. So we're impacting a lot of students across all 3 counties.
For voters in Houghton, Baraga, and Keweenaw counties, the millage renewal will be on the ballot May 5th. In Hancock, Andrew Hans, WZMQ 19 News.
A northern Michigan lawmaker is pushing new protections for youth being transported to residential treatment programs. The bills passed in the House, 104 of 110 members voting yes, with some surprising supporters. Our Michigan Capitol correspondent Sophia Murphy has more from the bill's author on the protections it would create for kids.
Being woken up in the middle of the night and forced out of your bed and home is a scary situation, but it's a reality many kids can describe.
Use of restraints, chains, blindfolds. We as a society, government's first job is to protect our citizens, and this is what we're trying to do, especially the most vulnerable, like children.
Lawmakers in Michigan's House are looking to stop situations like this from happening. The Preventing Restraints in Youth Transport Act would ban transport companies from picking up youth between 9 p.m. and 6 a.m. and from using certain restraints during transport.
I had a constituent who had a 12-year-old child who kept running away from home, and they signed a contract to get him treatment in Missouri. They had signed held harmless and waivers with their forms at the residential treatment center.
The bills would only allow physical restraints in cases where there is an immediate risk of serious harm and no other options are available. Supporters say the changes are meant to make transport safer and more trauma-informed for young people in the system.
The drivers come in tactical gear in the middle of the night and snag your kid out, and then put him in handcuffs and leg shackles and drive him all the way to Missouri like that.
One surprising supporter has also spoken out on the issue. Media personality and advocate Paris Hilton has applauded Rep. Cavett and the protections in the bill.
She's been very supportive in other states and our state as well. She cares a lot about Michigan.
If passed, companies that violate the rules could face fines up to $1,000 per violation. The bills are now headed to the Senate for consideration. From Michigan's capital, Sophia Murphy, WZMQ 19 News.
Today, Bay College hosted a presentation on getting young people engaged in the workforce. Nationally acclaimed author and workforce development expert Mark Parna addressed faculty members, community leaders, and local employers. He highlighted ways workplaces are changing, including the rapid growth of artificial intelligence and how to help young people discover their potential. Parna says it's crucial to learn how students make decisions, build strong communication, and guide them toward meaningful opportunities.
We have to shift our paradigm to understand how extraordinary young people are and how we can reach them with a compelling message of relevance and purpose in their life.
Parna's presentation was part of Bay College's effort to strengthen partnerships between educators and community organizations while preparing students for the future. College enrollment has been declining over the past decade, and many institutions are struggling financially. More than 440 of the nation's 1,700 private, nonprofit, four-year colleges are at risk of closing or merging within the next decade. That's according to a projection by the Huron Consulting Group. Harvard economics professor Roland Fryer says families are realizing some colleges just aren't worth the money.
And so if you're paying $40,000 or $50,000 a year, into something, you come out of college with $200,000 worth of debt, and your income doesn't go up any more than if you had not gone to those schools. That's not a good investment. So the fact that the market is finally starting to work and students and families are voting with their feet, that is good news.
There are other ways to measure the worth of higher education, but Fryer says some of these schools do not offer the academic and social value to entice enough prospective students. Huron Consulting Group estimates 1.5 million students could be affected by the closings and mergers. King Charles and his wife, Queen Camilla, continued their whirlwind trip to the U.S. with an official state dinner at the White House. In his first state visit to the U.S. as king, Charles delivered a rare address to Congress with veiled comments directed at President Trump. Jesse Mitchell reports.
King Charles and Queen Camilla concluded their second day in Washington with a state dinner in their honor at the White House.
Ours is a treasured friendship, an eternal bond.
The royal event came just hours after the king addressed a joint meeting of Congress, becoming only the second British monarch to do so.
Whatever our differences, whatever disagreements we may have, we stand united in our commitment to uphold democracy.
King Charles referenced Saturday's shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
Let me say with unshakable resolve, such acts of violence will never succeed.
And urged Congress to continue working with NATO allies to help end conflicts like Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
That same unyielding resolve is needed for the defense of Ukraine and her most courageous people.
King Charles is officially in the U.S. to help celebrate the 250th anniversary of American independence from Britain.
Please rest assured, ladies and gentlemen, I am not here as part of some cunning rearguard action.
But tensions remain high between both nations, especially over the U.S.-Israeli war with Iran.
We're never going to let that opponent ever. Charles agrees with me even more than I do. We're never going to let that opponent have a nuclear weapon.
In a show of solidarity, King Charles and Queen Camilla are set to travel to New York City Wednesday to lay a wreath at the 9/11 memorial 25 years after the terror attacks.
Kelly Rowland has your first warning weather forecast after the break, plus fallen workers are honored in Ishpeming. We'll tell you about the ceremony when we come back.
19 News is brought to you by Kirkish Furniture.
Andersen brand products are #1 in quality, and the Window Store is your local Andersen expert for installation and service of all Andersen windows and doors. From showroom to your home, Andersen Windows and Doors at the Window Store.
It's Earth Month in the Upper Peninsula. Small actions make a big impact. Recycle 906 accepts cans, cardboard, plastics, and more, helping keep the UP clean and thriving. This Earth Month, recycle smarter. See what we accept at recycle906.com.
Amazon offers hourly employees health care on day one for the whole family. Amazon offers hourly employees health care for $5 a week with $5 copays.
Safety.
Should I go, Mom?
No, don't tell your mother anything.
Watch the Medical Minute, Thursdays at 6 and 11, only on 19 News. Brought to you by OSF Healthcare.
Hey Mace, did you order your prom outfit yet?
Yeah, Mom, I'll do it.
Hey, have you gotten your prom tux yet?
Yeah, Mom, I got it.
Mason, did you order your prom tux yet?
Yeah, it's coming. Mom?
Skip the guesswork this prom season. Come down to Young's Menswear. We get it right the first time. With tons of in-stock options to rent or buy, we'll help you look your best. Don't wait. Trust the experts at Young's Menswear, now in Escanaba and Marquette.
Andersen is the #1 trusted window and door brand. The Window Store is the Upper Peninsula's clear choice for windows and doors. Now that's a perfect fit. From showroom to your home, Andersen Windows and Doors at the Window Store.
Now, from the 19 News Forecast Center, this is WZMQ 19 First Warning Weather with meteorologist Kelly Rowland.
And welcome back. Yesterday we talked about that shift and the change in Tornado Alley. So I know this is not the Upper Peninsula, but I just wanted to show you and talk about it a little bit more. This was the outlook for today for severe weather from the Storm Prediction Center, and through Dallas especially. This is where we had that level 4 out of 5 from the Storm Prediction Center, and they did see pretty active weather out in this exact area with severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings. And when you think of Tornado Alley, you typically think of this exact place into Texas and into Oklahoma, Kansas, and Nebraska. But there's been some changes over the recent years, and especially places like Illinois. They are leading right now in the most tornadoes so far this year, when typically this is not what you would think of as Tornado Alley. A lot of these greater severe thunderstorm and severe weather outbreaks are happening over the Mississippi Valley, and it's shifting eastward over the last 40 years or so. So this pattern is because of a few different things. You can get some changes in the jet stream, and it all depends on where that warmer, humid air wants to set up, which is ultimately fuel for severe activity. And especially the increased number of tornadoes east of the Great Plains. With this shift, it's becoming more of a thing where if there's not usually a tornado there, it may no longer be something where it's completely rare. So places like into Ohio and even out towards Indiana and places like Kentucky. Maybe sometimes here again, tornadoes are not really that common here, but just that shift shows you that Mother Nature really does not care what the state boundaries are. As long as the atmospheric conditions are right, you can get that severe weather outbreak. So just wanted to talk about that a little bit more, but bringing it on back here locally for right now, the weather updates that we currently have, the alerts, just a flood warning. And these little tiny polygons are for those rivers, the creeks, and the streams that have that snow melt issue contributing to those flood issues. That's what we're continuing to see pop up for the most part. Other than that, things are pretty quiet locally, and it was a very spring-like day, a pretty normal day in terms of where we should be hitting for those temperatures. 52 for the high. The average high is 53, but it is going to be a bit cooler for tomorrow, and don't be surprised if you see, because of this colder air rushing in, maybe a bit of a wet snowflake to start things out for tomorrow. That really just shows us where the colder air is going to be setting up. Whether or not this snow accumulates, probably not going to happen. Luckily, a lot of the temperatures will get above freezing, but that's your early morning time frame before the sun comes up to really start warming things up. But you do see that counterclockwise rotation of that low pressure system, and then once you get that northern wind really kicking into effect, again, the colder air, that shows us that we're going to take a hit in those temperatures. Again, we should be hitting the lower 50s, and we are going to be on the cooler and the colder side of things to conclude this month. And we have the start of May this Friday. That's still on the cold side of things. We slowly rebound just in time for the weekend, and then we have Cinco de Mayo coming up on this upcoming following Tuesday. Temperatures will be into the upper 40s with a few scattered showers.
Kelly, thank you again. The UP Regional Labor Federation held a Workers' Memorial Day ceremony today at the Cliffs Shaft Mine Museum in Ishpeming. Our own John Truitt attended the service and tells us what it's all about.
The event honored fallen workers from across the UP and marked the 100th anniversary of the Barnes-Hecker mining disaster, a deadly cave-in that claimed the lives of 51 miners in 1926 and was the worst industrial accident in Michigan history.
These people died so that we don't have to. And so I think that that should really be the message of today, is there's so many people that passed away in these disasters that are even here locally that is really going to move us into the future of trying to make sure nobody ever dies again like that.
Workers' Memorial Day coincides with the anniversary of the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, or OSHA, which was established in 1971 to improve workplace safety.
But they really regulate anything that happens, whether it's breathe the air you breathe or whether it's, the steps that you walk up to try to eliminate the amount of injuries, because at one point the injuries were prevalent.
Local officials, labor leaders, and members of the public all gathered for a moment of silence, followed by a recounting of workplace safety through the years. Sari admits that safety in the workplace has come a long way, but constant vigilance is essential.
There's never an end to this. I mean, this keeps going. This is a perpetual thing that we have to continue to push for, because if you don't, the awareness goes away.
In years past, rank-and-file workers were often at odds with management regarding safety, but not so in today's modern climate.
Everybody is on board. Everybody has to work together in order for safety to actually fully function. Management is definitely on board with us, and they're doing everything that they can in their power to help us out.
In Ishpeming, John Truitt, WZMQ 19 News.
Millions of Americans are now copying the stock trades of politicians and famous investors through an app. But as so-called copycat investing takes off, so do concerns about what's really driving the trend. Evan Moon reports.
It started with a Nancy Pelosi tracker on social media in 2022 that picked up more than 1 million followers by posting the Congresswoman's money moves. Now, users can copy her family's stock trades automatically.
Kind of crazy to say, but she's pretty much like her own pseudo hedge fund. She has 500 million of everyday Americans' money trading alongside her right now.
Why her?
She's the best.
We sat down with Chris Josephs, whose app, Autopilot, lets users mirror the trades of a dozen politicians and other top investors.
The Donald Trump White House asset management portfolio, for example. We had Marjorie Taylor Greene, we had Mark Wayne Mullen, Debbie Wasserman Schultz is actually a really, really popular one.
Members of Congress and their spouses are required to report trades within 45 days. Joseph says his app isn't partisan, it follows how both sides trade.
What are politicians privy to that the average American wouldn't be?
They get classified on a number of different things. From back in 2020 with COVID, there were literally politicians that traded on COVID. A couple of them got investigated. They had all that information before the public did. All the wars, the Ukraine war, some politicians are trading on. The Israel-Hamas war, some of the politicians were buying up war stocks before that happened.
Multiple bills aiming to ban congressional stock trading have failed. This January, Republican Brian Stile from Wisconsin introduced the Stop Insider Trading Act.
This prevents any member of Congress from being able to benefit financially by any inside information they may gain, and this bill has real teeth.
Until then, Joseph says Autopilot aims to put the public on equal footing.
Screw it. If they're going to keep trading, why not build a way to get in on the action? Because what better way to highlight the hypocrisy of them trading than to just copy them?
$1.3 billion is currently invested through the Autopilot app.
Mike Ludlam has your sports headlines when we come back. NMU's track and field team is heading into the GLIAC Championships with high hopes after standout performances over the weekend. We'll be right back.
Shop hundreds of Lazy Boys at Kirkish Furniture in Houghton. Kick back in comfort in an industry-leading recliner. Choose from all fabrics, colors, and sizes with prices starting as low as $4.99 plus free delivery. Shop Kirkish Furniture in Houghton today.
Welcome to Car Breakdowns 101. I'm your Professor Ice-T. If your car is out of warranty, a car breakdown could eat you alive. Look at that car. The transmission alone could cost you $3,000. And that engine? How much do you love your kidneys? Don't even get me started on the computer system. That's a small fortune. Do what I did and call CarShield. They get expensive car repairs taken care of so you don't have to. Class dismissed.
Call 800-859-0084.
When you need a body shop, skip the corporate shops and outside investors. Go with your hometown body shop, Superior Collision. Our family opened Superior Collision in 2002, and we're still the ones who own and operate it today. Some places talk about community. We actually stand with our community, donating monthly back into Marquette County. When you need collision repair, choose Superior Collision, your local hometown body shop.
Here's your WZMQ CBS This is Home Community Calendar.
It's Aaron Spelling Sundays, featuring 4 memorable shows from the legendary Hollywood producer.
And then we'll take the car, the boat, the train, and the plane home.
The plane! Sundays on MeTV 19.1.
Good evening, everyone. The NMU women's track and field team enters the first day of tomorrow's GLIAC Championships at Grand Valley State with pretty good momentum. The Wildcats were second at the St. Norbert Invitational over the weekend, 5 points behind the winners from Wisconsin Oshkosh. Manistique's Danielle Lund won the shot put, discus, and hammer throw. Marquette's Bo Truckee captured the 100 and 200 dashes. Head coach Jenny Ryan is cautiously optimistic about the league meet.
They put their entries in between yesterday at 8 a.m. and today at noon, and then the coaches can't see each other's entries. But based on that list, I mean, we're at the top. I mean, like, for example, Danielle is ranked in the top 3 and in all 3 throwing events. A couple of our mid-distance runners are ranked right up there.
The first part of the men's decathlon and women's heptathlon take place tomorrow afternoon, starting at 2 o'clock and wrapping up Thursday. The individual and relay track events and field events begin Thursday afternoon. The meet concludes Friday. 11 schools will take part, including Michigan Tech and Lake Superior State. High school track this afternoon at the Maroon Invitational, logically down in Menominee. Marquette, a 2-point winner over Kingsford with Negaunee third. For the Sentinels, Ford Richardson won the 100 dash, 300 hurdles in a relay. For Kingsford, Blake Tomasowski took the 16 and 3200 and a relay. On the girls' side, Negaunee dominated with Marquette second and Gladstone third. For the minors, Sadie Rogers won both hurdles, a relay, and was third in the 200. Kira Waterman grabbed the 800, second in the 400, won a relay, fourth in the long jump. For Marquette, Jordan Anthony won the 100, 200, and 2 relays. Gladstone's Ella Brackett won the 400, second in the 200 and long jump, plus fourth in the 100. Baraga Invitational on the boys' side, Lakeland and Humble races away from everyone with 180 points. Calumet second, Lance third. For the Lakes, Josh Davatilla, the high jump, long jump, and third the shot put. Tobin Berry, the pole vault, and a relay, and of course, plenty of points by the Axford triplets. Connor Kempinen won both hurdles, and Tavin Lewis the shot put and discus for Lance. On the girls' side, Ewan Trail Creek 5 points better than Calumet, 111 to 106. Lakeland and Hubble third. For the Panthers, Bree Bestman, the 1600, 3200, a relay, and second in the 800. For the Copper Kings, Ava Rauvala, Kyla Strom, and Abby Hoffman each won a sprint and 1 or 2 relays. The Mid-American Conference Golf Tournament took place at Akron, Ohio. Kent State stated another victory with a score of 9 under par. This, believe it or not, is the 27th straight conference title for the Golden Flashes. Kent State, if you remember, is coached by former Mid-Peninsula High School and NMU golfer Casey Van Dam. Eastern Michigan was second, followed by Bowling Green. Western was sixth, and Central Michigan was eighth. An Upper Peninsula women's college basketball player has left Michigan Tech to join a Division I program in the Missouri Valley Conference. Negaunee grad Ella Mason will be on the Illinois State Redbirds team next season. Mason appeared in all 29 games with 27 starts with the Huskies in her sophomore season. She led the team with scoring with 13.7 points per game, knocking down a team-best 58 three-pointers. She scored a career-high 30 points in her final game of the season at NMU. Illinois State went 24-14 last season and advanced to the Women's National Invitational Tournament. The Redbirds were 13-7 in the Missouri Valley Conference. Meanwhile, a former Upper Peninsula Dream Team basketball player died late last week. Ginger Weber Moore was an all-state basketball player and outstanding sprinter for Gladstone High School in the mid-1990s. She continued her basketball career at NMU as a backup point guard, helping the Wildcats to the Division II semifinals in 1998. She was a teacher, a counselor, and a basketball coach at Kingsford High School. Visitation will be this Saturday, May 2nd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central Time at the Erickson, Roshan, and Nash Funeral Home in Iron Mountain, followed by the service. Ginger Weber Moore passed away after an 18-month battle with cancer. She was 49 years old. Uintah Creek boys basketball coach Brad Beston has retired after 18 seasons with the Panthers. 275 and 128 was his record, and the Panthers were the state runner-up in Division IV in 2022. He was named Associated Press Boys Division IV Coach of the Year in that season. Negaunee Greg Grace Nardi is the Wisconsin Intercollegiate Athletic Conference softball pitcher of the week. Nardi pitched the 15th no-hitter in Oshkosh history Sunday, wrapping up a 3-0 week in the circle in 4 starts. Her record now is 8-1 on the season. Her ERA is 1.55. Major League Baseball, the Tigers, the Atlanta Braves, and yeah, things not looking too good for the Tigers in this one. This is a base hit by Ronald Acuna Jr. Mike Yastrzemski will score, and the Braves take a 1-0 lead in the 3rd inning, and they were not done. Matt Olson will get a hold of one. It'll stay in the ballpark, and I skipped right by that, didn't I? Oh, well, my bad. Let's just wrap this up quickly. The Atlanta went on to win 5-0. Javier Baez suffered an injury on this play right here as he took an awkward slide into first base. Let's quickly catch up on the Brewers. They were taking on the Diamondbacks this evening, and it didn't take long for Milwaukee to get started in this one. Sal Frelick will hit a solo home run off Merrill Kelly, and that gave the Brewers a 1-0 lead in the 2nd inning. Joey Ortiz would hit a single that would score 2 runs. The Brewers are up 3-0, and Milwaukee went on to win easily by the count of 13-2. Now let's double back and catch up on some other scores if we can from the high school ranks today. Boys tennis, Negaunee over Gwynn 8-0, and Westwood down to Ishpeming 7-1. Also in softball today, Escanaba swept Kingsford 3-1 and 18-1. Also in doubleheader action, Park River Harris took care of Forest Park twice, 26-8 and 22-3. Elsewhere, Norway wins 2 from Superior Central, 20-5 and 21-1. It was Negaunee 15 at Manistee 8. Don't know if they played the second game of the doubleheader. Also, Rapid River 12-2 over Kearney NATO, 16-1 North Dickinson defeated Stevenson. And it was Munising edging Newberry 9-8 in the first game of a doubleheader. On the baseball side of things, Negaunee took 2 from Manistee, 28-0 and 13-0, and Escanaba took 2 from Menominee, and we will be right back.
You know, Hard Rock is built on service, from that first cafe to hotels and casinos around the world. That's why on the Hard Rock Bet Casino app, service still comes first.
When you want to withdraw your money, it's secure. Get paid in 30 minutes or less.
When you need help, it's available 24/7. Real service, based right here in the U.S.
Hard Rock Bet Casino is here, Michigan. Roll with us.
New customers get up to $1,000 back in casino bonus, plus 500 bonus spins.
Wednesday, 911 Nashville's Chris O'Donnell. So you're playing a first responder, but how are you in real life?
I'm not good.
Me neither.
I'm so queasy. And now I'm saving people in the streets of Nashville. You're in good hands.
Plus, from The Devil Wears Prada, Helen J. Shin. I heard you and Ann, we're all crocheting, but we were. I love crocheting. You do? I love it. If you catch me on a plane, I'm the one looking like an 80-year-old crocheting. Next, Kelly.
The Kelly Clarkson Show, tomorrow at 5 on WZMQ CBS.
Planes, trains, and Broncos. Kick up your spurs and set a spell with the fine folks of Gunsmoke, Bonanza, The Rifleman, and Wagon Train. Go west, young men. Go west.
Weekdays beginning at 1 p.m. on MeTV 19.1. Escanaba reporter Lily Simmons on WZMQ 19 News. Tonight's sports is brought to you by the Window Store.
Andersen brand products are #1 in quality, and the Window Store is your local Andersen expert for installation and service of all Andersen windows and doors. From showroom to your home. Andersen Windows and Doors at the Window Store. Andersen is the #1 trusted window and door brand. The Window Store is the Upper Peninsula's clear choice for windows and doors. Now that's a perfect fit. From showroom to your home, Andersen Windows and Doors at the Window Store.
And a final check of your forecast throughout this midweek time frame, getting ready for your Wednesday. And at least into Marquette, it is going to be on the cloudy side of things and definitely a colder start into the 30s, just above that freezing range. And then we won't warm things up all too much throughout the day. Going to be a bit hard with those northern winds and limited sunshine, but we'll be stuck into that mid to lower 40s range, maybe a bit more sun out to Munising. And of course, places like Iron Mountain and Menominee, the further south you get, the better chance you have at seeing closer to 50 degrees. So a bit chilled for tomorrow, not going to be too much on the rainy side, maybe a few scattered showers, very isolated raindrops throughout the day, and maybe a few more to start things off on Thursday morning. But luckily, it's a bit of a dry pattern that we have really settling in here for the next 6 to 10 days, but it is accompanied with some cooler temperatures. So a lot of your 7-day is going to be below average, especially for the conclusion of this week here, which also starts a new month. So we close out April and enter May, and we start to rebound those temperatures, get back to the lower 50s just in time for the weekend.
Kelly, thank you again. And finally tonight, the Zonta Club of Marquette gathered to honor the women who make a difference in the community. The 5th annual Honor a Woman event at NMU's Northern Center brought the community together with dinner, basket raffles, and a keynote address from Stephanie Grape of the UP Human Trafficking Task Force, who touched on sexual assault, resilience, and the adversity women face. Her message to the room was one of gratitude and responsibility.
We've made it this far. How many women have come before us to get us to this point? Amen, and God bless those women. We have the next duty to carry that torch and to do what is necessary, not so much what is easy.
The Zonta Club of Marquette works year-round advocating for women and girls across the region. That's it for now, everyone. Have a great night.
Doug Garrison here for Budget Windows. We had no idea. That's what customers say when they see and price Budget Windows. They had no idea that Budget Windows carries the highest rated replacement windows money can buy. So if you need new windows and want the best of the best without breaking your budget, call Budget Windows. Best built, best backed,